That's ragu, mate. I mean, I hope not. I hope you don't, you know.
This is the Escape Podcast for Star Wars The Old Republic. We're going to catch back up this week after a week off with a rare afternoon recording. We're trying to squeeze one in after my business travel. I also have the Rakghoul Plague, so I may explode at any moment. This broadcast Astromech is EPC 227. And playing alongside me is Seema. Hi, Seema. How's it going?
I'm standing way over here, so when you explode, I won't get caught.
Nice try.
But yes.
Yeah, I will come find you.
I am doing great, actually. Much better than it sounds like you are, for sure. Let's see, this week in SWTOR, might as well talk about Lords of Light, our ops team. You were not able to make it due to the Rakghouls infecting your life, but yes, last night we did first Scum and Villainy. We piggybacked on one of our other raid teams' lockout, so we did the last two bosses in Scum and Villainy, which was fun because it's been a while since we've done the last two bosses there because we usually run out of time since that's a long one. And then we went to Ravagers, and I didn't think we would finish, but we did. We did the whole Ravagers thing. We had about 20 minutes left of the night, and people were going, let's go kill Cortania. I'm like, oh, we'll never finish. But we finished in like 15 minutes, so my sense of time is bad. So that was fun. MFN this week we did on the pub side. We had 16 people. We went to Eternity Vault, which, goodie. It's an oldie but goodie. I love Eternity Vault still. Especially since nowadays, and for quite a while now, you can skip all the robo trash after the first boss. I think that's a really awesome feature. I mean, if you have a willing stealther to go sneak through. So yeah, that's what we did that. And other than that, it's been holidays. I actually have one last holiday party, and that's tonight for a group of friends that have been traveling and doing family stuff, and we just haven't been able to get together until now. So we're going to exchange gifts and have a drink of champagne probably and have a good old time. So that's my plan.
Nice.
So Max, I know a little bit about what's been going on with you, but how are you doing?
How you doing? I am a little scratchy. Can't hear it in my voice. I was out at a convention. I was out in New York. I was talking to lots of executives, having a good old time. By the end of it, I picked up some sort of convention crud or something. And so I was fine throughout the trip, just on the plane ride home. I could feel it the last day, and the plane ride home got a little bad. But I'm good now. No more fever. Oh, there you go. Don't make me laugh. I'll get into a coughing fit. But doing better. So I wanted to get one in this week, do a podcast. Didn't want to miss another week. Been traveling a bunch for work, and I'm going to travel some more next week, it sounds like. It's interesting. But in between, I have been checking in on things here and there. Not a lot this week because I was out and on the road. But I was, up until New York, I was still doing quite a bit of... I still can't get off the crafting kick. So now I'm a few days out of date. I have no idea where the market is at. The market kept declining in profitability to make the new augments. I'm interested to see if it sort of hit that 2%, 3% profit margin that it seems like some of the crafters like to drive it down to. The problem was the price of the materials stayed exactly where it was at, and the price of the augments kept coming down lower and lower and lower by millions. So it's been interesting to watch. Glad to hear you guys are having fun. Ravagers is certainly one of my favorite. Having the team get through and complete Ravagers, that's great, because you never know what's going to happen on that Cortani fight. So that's a good one.
Yeah, I was going to say it did bring back memories of when she was so buggy. You never really knew whether you could complete her or not. But
yeah, at launch,
she seems pretty stable now.
That was crazy days.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And for quite a long time after launch, too.
Yeah, they seem to get to some of those trigger points and just force the event, and it works out a little bit better that way. All right, not a ton of news, but some significant news, especially with what's coming up next week. So let's talk about the news.
Now, an Imperial News Network report.
So servers will be coming down on Tuesday. We will be getting a patch, and that patch is Game Update 5.7. We are continuing to get the bosses for Gods from the Machine. So we're getting the next boss, which is, I guess, I hadn't heard that Skyva was even ready, but apparently she is. So I'm glad we're getting her as quick as we are. I think we wanted all the bosses 6 months ago, but I'm glad we've got Skyva. That's going to be hitting the servers on Tuesday. We're also getting, and they talked about this a little bit, we're getting a couple companions returning, and I'll talk a bit in a second about what that means specifically and how they're returning. They seem to be changing the mechanism of bringing some companions back a little bit with Risha, Corso, and Andronikos. But I think, it might help get those out a little bit quicker. And then various bug fixes and updates and a new cartel market pack and things like that. What else did we hear about, Seema, from Keith?
Basically, they did say to expect a roadmap soon to address some stuff beyond 5.7. And then they just gave a little teaser saying we can expect additional companions returning, a new flashpoint, and more. So that's all we know about 2018 so far, but look forward to hearing more.
And more. Yeah, I hope we get an acceleration of the roadmap stuff. They've been a little bit slow to get those roadmap things out to us. I know it's tough. It takes a lot of work to ensure that you've got the right pipeline of things coming over the course of the year that you can commit to, and you don't want to commit to something that's not going to happen or is too variable, and you don't want to commit to too little and have a roadmap that just has the one thing that you're sure of. So I know it's a challenge, but we need to see that. We got to see that now. We're in 2018. It's the future. So hopefully we'll see that soon. So we did see the note about the class-specific companions coming back. So that means Risha and Corso will be coming back for smugglers only, and Andronikos will be coming back for inquisitors only. So this is different than throughout Coffee and Kotet, how we've been getting companions back, right? We've been getting
That's right.
an alert which gives the companion back to anybody and everybody. Everybody gets the alert.
Like I have T7 on any character that I want him, basically.
So this, of course, raises a bunch of questions. They did say, so the key question was, are all the returning companions going to be class specific from here on out? I hope not. I made a smuggler Chrono my agent, and I'd like to get Vector for her. So Eric says, many of them will be, but not all. It depends on the story we're telling with that particular companion returning. I will make sure we note that for the future returns so you know which is which. They also said these will be more, they won't be just the old style dialogue in most of these cases. It'll be a little bit more voiced and acted out, hopefully. So it'll be a little bit richer experience for those classes that are supposed to get those companions back. And they do said it's up in the air on whether you'll be able to go to the companion platform, the companion kiosk in your stronghold on Odessen and get these companions for other characters. That's unknown at this point. But that could be that
I'm thinking that this makes it easier to write a more compelling story for them coming back because they can say things to you about experiences that you've had in the past, whereas they can't really if you're not on a character that would have had that companion back during the original class stories.
Right. So we'll see if they can make it. If they don't have to build, as you're saying, if don't have to build those companions into the overarching storyline, hopefully we can churn out more of these companions as individual side conversations that make sense, are somewhat satisfying, and get them back in our inventory.
Right. Well, they don't have to make them so vanilla that they apply to everyone.
Right. And it doesn't have to be, and it does, right. And it doesn't have to be some weird story that's part of what's going on with Kotet, especially since Kotet is over now.
And we don't have things like Tano Vic where you run into him and he's like, hi, bye.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's also weird. Where did, or what'll this do to the opportunity to kill some companions? we'll probably have less opportunity to kill some of the companions that people were hoping to, although maybe some of those key ones are already done. Skadge, have we seen Skadge yet? Have we been able to punch him in the face? I don't know. That's something I always like doing.
I know a lot of people are not looking forward to Skadge, but at least one person is looking forward to Vector.
Yeah, apparently. And I could see that. And although Vector wouldn't have been on top of any of my lists, but he's a good character. And as somebody's trying to make
I like
a clone.
Vector, actually.
They're trying to do that class
I'm a
clone.
fan.
Yeah. You like Vector?
Yeah, I mean, on my agent, he's my husband. He's my hubby.
Well, he and all the other bugs that co-inhabit
Yeah,
his mind.
yes, that's right.
That's a cozy
I
little
have a
arrangement.
lot of husbands.
Interesting.
That's right.
All right, how about guild news? Where are we at?
So, MFN, next week we are going to be on the imp side, and by next week I mean January 23rd. And also I want to make a mention that our guildie Zen has put some mats in the guild bank to help people make their personal conquest targets this week, so please take advantage of that so that you can make your personal target.
Yes. So the way it works when you're trying to especially make the invasion forces is it takes one of each of the 5 kinds of war materials, and each of the war materials is made by, one or two of the war materials each is made by the key crafting classes. So if you only have a couple characters and you only have a couple types of crafting available to you, you may not be able to make all of the different war materials. So we've done this. I'd recommend it to any guild. Either set up some sort of exchange where I can make extra of the holocrons of, holocron crystal capacitors or whatever. So I put those in and I take the starship weapon things out and I trade back and forth. That's a little honor system to dump those in and take those out. That works pretty well. We've done a bunch of that. Or in this case where you've got somebody who's a hero and puts a bunch in there for everybody to use, that's pretty cool too. So thank you to Zen. That's pretty awesome. MFN, we all back on schedule for 2018?
Yep, as I said, we're on the imp side on January 23rd.
Yeah, I guess you did great. Excellent. I may be there. I may be traveling again. But soon I will be back.
Stupid real life.
Back. All right, and with that, I think we can talk about where we are today and give a little bit of an introduction and a background and a talk about Alderaan.
Game changer.
Game changer.
Game changer.
Game changer for...
Game changer for the industry.
I don't know why I played that. That has nothing to do with anything. So we are changing the game by going to the next planet, apparently. Welcome to Alderaan. Alderaan is one of the... There's a bunch of these planets. We talked about it, I think, when we hit Tatooine. Very iconic Star Wars-y planets that when I first started playing Star Wars The Old Republic, I was glad I got to go and visit that planet. Regardless of what happens there or the story or anything, just being able to go to Tatooine and jump in the Sarlacc pit, first thing. That's the first thing I ever did was go find that Dune Sea and jump in the Sarlacc pit. Be able to visit Alderaan before it's blown into chunks in Alderaan chunks where Alderaan space was, and places like Hoth, which is also super iconic. So this is a chance to visit Alderaan way back in the Old Republic days, way before the Death Star ever showed up and Grand Moff Tarkin popped it like a something that popped. It also has references, even going back now, so this is quite old in the Old Republic time frame, but it has references about the Organa family. In fact, I don't think I have it. I don't have it unveiled on this map because this is a new character getting here. But you can go and visit the House Organa, and there's a monument in House Organa. So if you remember when we had when Carrie Fisher passed and there was a bunch of in-game events, a lot of them centered in House Organa here on Alderaan, which was pretty cool. What is the planet like? You tell me, Seema. What's your impression of the planet?
The main thing I remember about Alderaan and like about it is the fact that it's both green landscape and snowy landscape, but it's cold in any event. I mean, it's in a realistic way, at least to me. So I like that a lot. I like the green and the white coming together.
Yeah, so it's very mountainous. I think most of the the higher altitude of the mountain is getting a bunch of the snow. It reminds me a lot of either like northern Arizona or Colorado, the sort of the pine fir type trees and the snowy vistas and being able to look out across and see the mountain ranges. I read a thing on Wikipedia, I think I still have it up here, that I guess from a lore perspective, it was very intentional for all of these vistas to be incorporated into how they built the various houses in their compounds, and they tried to be really integrated into the landscape, and it's very by design from that perspective. And it really is. It's good looking. The artists did a great job when they first put this place together. In fact, there's an event we have every year, I think we've talked about it many times, called Remembrance Day, where we all get together and just spend a little bit of time remembering real-life friends of ours that have been in the guild that are no longer with us. And Alderaan is our place of choice to have the in-game portion of Remembrance Day for the AIE guild. We do it in a different place in each of the MMOs. We usually do it all at once. But yeah, we go up to a point which we renamed Remembrance Point, that overlooks the mountains, and we've got a bunch of, I think you could probably go back in my Twitter feed and see some of our screenshots of us all lined up there paying our respects. It was a cool thing. What else characterizes Alderaan? Bunch of snotty nobles.
Yeah, I was just going to say, houses of nobles that are basically out for their own gain.
Yes. Politics, infighting, noble houses acting like, snotty, snooty noble houses, which in this time frame, especially coming in Dark Side Sith, gives you an opportunity to potentially be putting a lot of those people in their place. So if you like sticking it to the man, this is a good place to go ahead and do that. All right.
My very, very first character was a sage, and her story was all about diplomacy here and trying to get people to, join together. So that's what I remember most about Alderaan, is that struggle.
Yeah, I think even as a bounty hunter, I was mostly trying to do that. Can't we all just get along? But I think here, because we're dark side,
this must be the Sith we've been
it
expecting.
may go different.
I can feel his power.
Welcome, Sith. I'm sorry for the chaos. Alderaan is on the brink of civil war, but House Thule owes the Empire so much.
Okay, so we're in here. We're hooking up with House Thule. Again, this is part of our buddy pal Zash is telling us we need to go get another one of these artifacts. So we're only here really from the class story perspective to get the artifact. In order to go and secure this artifact, we need to get in good with this particular house. They're gonna, we're gonna use their resources.
Every government has its flaws.
I had to click before the timer was up.
For the Empire, House Thule, I would not be on Alderaan today. But our history can hardly
Quit
be of
sucking up.
interest to you. Darth Zash mentioned you're after a certain artifact. Am I correct?
I'm not telling you.
That's my little secret.
Fair enough, but from what little I know, I may be able to help you. Allow me to introduce Morin. He's my personal Sith guard. He did some preliminary investigation after Darth Zash called.
It is an honor. I've heard many things about Lord Zash's apprentice. I began my research on a hunch house
another Sith.
Organa
Let's
close
get my
to
hackles
ties
up.
with the Jedi. We captured and chatted with a chamberlain of House Organa.
He confirmed that Organa holds the artifact, and that it is kept in their private vault in the Elysium.
Isn't House Organa your sworn enemy?
If we want
How
to launch an
convenient.
attack, we don't need to resort to tricks. Unfortunately, the Elysium is sealed tight, and the key is held by Nomar Organa, a powerful, revered, and insufferable Jedi Master. You are the only Sith on Alderaan who even stands a chance of defeating Nomar. We must bring him here.
Nomar Organa has a reputation for strength and power, but above all, for his principles. He is, by all accounts, the perfect Jedi, but everyone
I will
has
break him.
weaknesses. Isn't that right?
Bring him here and I'll twist his arm.
I suggest you start in the library of House Alder. They are devoted keepers of
Okay,
Alderaan's
so now we're
history.
getting
Personal
sent along our
connections, I
way.
think, would be most useful. Siblings he was particularly close to, childhood friends. But be careful. House Alde is a close ally of Organa. They're likely to attack anyone from Thule on sight.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Sith.
I don't remember exactly, but I think that guy's a problem later. I'm getting a bad vibe off of him. All right, so we need to go to this library, head on out, and stake our claim on this information leading to the artifact. House Organa. So right away we're interacting with House Organa and being mean to them, apparently. Pretty good architecture inside these buildings. You can get some of these kinds of decorations for your strongholds. Do we get to go... Secrets of the Jedi. So we might not get that first... Some of the other classes, I think, have a first bit right here in town where they get to force choke a fool. And put slave collars on
Well,
them,
that
don't
might
they?
be, yeah, because you have to like find the. Yeah, I remember that. That might be in the Planet Arc because I've run into that on
Oh, yeah.
more than one
I
character.
think I skipped the... We've been skipping the Planet Arc, haven't we? I did skip the Planet Arc. There is no Rakghoul invasion besides the one going on in my chest right now, but Alderaan is one of the 3 locations where they do a Rakghoul invasion, and right out here where we're at for this first this second taxi point is where the staging ground is to get to the Rakghoul spike. See, there's another one of my favorite parts of Alderaan, flying on these Thranta. These are the taxis, flying on the big sky whale dolphin things that fly around.
I like the Thrantas. Speaking of Rakghouls, though, next week there is a Rakghoul event on Tatooine,
Okay.
and you know, you got the virus just a little early. That's all.
I hope I get an achievement for getting ahead of it. As long as
That
I
would be
don't
funny.
explode.
If you're walking through the airport when you picked up the virus and like a toast splashed up.
Incineration
Achievement.
is approved for all Rakghoul. I probably have some of those. I'll have to dig them up. Airlock expulsion is it valid? Alright, where are we supposed to go now? This is actually Remembrance Point for us. Right over here, overlooking the mountains. Up over here, just to the west. As I said, a really nice area. Lots of cool creatures on Alderaan. I like these. I like all the cats. Sort of the cat-ish things that they have. Lots of droids in various areas if you have scavenging, which can be quite useful. Bioanalysis if you want to kill those big cats.
Yeah, Alderaan is actually really good for bioanalysis. If you're in that level of mats that you need for, say, Conquest.
Right. So there are the ranges where you could be making the lower level. You're ending up with the same war supply, but you can use the lower level mats, and it's a pair of them. It's like grade 4 and grade 5 together, and grade 6 and grade 7 together. So you could come here and collect a bunch of those. You do have to get more of them if you're using the lower level mats, but it's still a potential, especially if you've got a bunch of them from leveling up. It's a potentially useful thing to go and do. All right, so we're going into House Alda. They look angry. Let's see if we can slip by this guy, or if we're gonna have to kill some Kill some people. There are some good planet stories here. Nothing all that interesting from my perspective. There's some good side stuff, but it's more the political intrigue and trying to help one house over another house and that kind of thing, as opposed to.
I mean, people getting kidnapped is about as exciting as it gets.
Yeah.
I guess if we run into that, we might be able to kill the kidnapper and the kidnappee.
What are you doing back there, Seema? You
I actually don't know where you are. I was.
I'm south in House Alda.
Oh, the south entrance.
No, just keep going south. No, just go right in.
Oh, just.
Yep.
This is what you meant by the angry ones. Yeah, I was watching where you flew to see where to fly to.
Oh, sorry. You don't have the. You don't have the breadcrumb.
That's right.
You have to poke me. There you go. Hello, Seema. This way. I wonder if now that the double XP is over, if as we play our class stories, if we're going to have to do some extra things on the side, maybe a little bit of planetary to catch up.
Yeah, I wonder.
We'll see how it feels. I'm close to 39. You're probably over. No, you're 39 too. Okay.
I'm 39, almost 40.
Library archive. Oh, astromech. It's coming right at me. Killing some library guards. I remember this did used to be. Somebody talked about that on a podcast that I was watching last week about the leveling experience is kind of easy, and that I think that's definitely true. And if you remember though, it was not easy back in the day. So I used to die relatively often when I was leveling up the very first time on launch.
I think about that from time to time. If it's, I mean, there's a lot of moving parts, right? Like we have way better gear than the first time we went around.
A lot of influence, a lot of presence.
And that, better help with stats.
So presence.
So I don't know how much
still exists, right?
how much of it is it being easy and how much of it is it just being easier and we know how to play it well. You know how to play your class. I'm just hitting,
right,
my thing.
So presence does still exist. Here's a bonus. We can overwrite House Alda records. Why are we doing that? Because we're jerks? Why do I care about that? It's right here, I guess. Presence does still exist. I have 1,000 bonus presence, or a little bit over that. You get presence bonus from completing class stories for individual classes all the way to through chapter 3. So after you're sort of legendary and you've done it with all the classes, you have a lot of presence that just carries over, and there's no way you can really shut it off. So your companions do get more and more powerful for each of your characters, whether or not you have influence with them. Then influence is the second thing that drives the power of your companions these days. All right, I'm accessing the Hollow Archive access panel in the library, sifting through countless records.
I thank you all for gathering here. Friends, family, everyone. As you know,
it's a recording.
This is the day that Rahana and I were to announce our intentions to be married.
No more.
What are you saying?
I'm sorry, Rahana, but there's been a change.
You coward!
I have a responsibility to the Jedi Order. I have decided
Foolish
to continue
Jedi.
my training in the Force. Off-world.
It's your family, isn't it? They talked you out of this.
Damn Organas think you're too good for us. For my daughter? You'd better be sorry. You will be sorry.
A little setup for some more of the story. Maybe a weakness that we can exploit.
Maybe there's a force choke coming up.
Maybe. Okay, so we're done here at the library. I did not finish the bonus, though. Do you want to finish the bonus? Let's skip it.
Sure.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's just a couple. It's just a couple more of these. I clicked that one. Did we miss a couple? Probably missed a couple coming in. It's not a very big
I
area.
love the bonus quests, and most of them are fairly well, situated so that you basically just play the main quest and you get the bonus quest, so it's like extra XP for killing what you were going to kill anyway.
I must have completed it. Either I completed it, or I turned in.
Or it
too
got
quick.
erased when you did the main. Yeah, that's the bad thing, is occasionally there'll be ones that just disappear when you finish the main quest.
Right.
And you never know which way
Yeah,
your
that's
bonus
always been
quest
a little.
is.
I mean, you never lose too much by not doing it, but
Yeah.
here you would have had to click all the things before you got to the console at the end. Which, how are you supposed to know you're supposed to do that?
Right.
Most of them are okay, but there are a fair number that you do have to worry about. I don't like the ones that you're supposed to kill, like, 500 robots or whatever, and okay. and there's four stages.
And you killed 495.
Well,
right.
Yeah, but there's 4 stages, and the bonus the bonus proceeds through all 4 stages. But you go off and grind 500 of them on stage 1 because you're afraid at that next turn in that the bonus is going to be done. So
right.
That's a little bit of pain. Okay, we can just quick travel back to House Thule because we need to go back and talk to Ilana Thule and tell her the little juicy, gossipy tidbit that we just found out, which was this Jedi has a girlfriend, and we're gonna exploit that information, I'm sure. Down here. Hey, Death Row in the chat room.
Hey, Def.
This is another one of those planets that really gave me a sense of how they architected scale into the scenery in Star Wars in a way that I feel like I hadn't really seen in other games in a long time. The buildings are just very, very tall. I still always miss, and I still miss not having flying. If I'm on a hover bike of some kind.
And swimming.
Yeah, and swimming. All water on every planet in this galaxy for some reason is only 1 foot deep. Pop on my rocket boost. Pop in, say hi to Ilana. What's up,
Keep me
Ellie?
apprised of the situation, Ertl. We may need to take action.
Urkel? What's this guy's name?
Ah, Sith. Sorry to keep you waiting. I hope your search in House Alde was fruitful. I've been anxiously dreaming up scandals we could catch the spotless Nomar Organa in.
Just this tasty
This should
morsel.
allow us to sink our hooks into him.
Let me see.
Oh, we're going to sink our hooks.
Engagement announcement Nomar and Rihanna. My goodness, this is juicy.
Can't
It
I
must
just...
have been somewhere
Really, is this
between
what I'm reduced
20
to?
and 30 years ago. Long before
Can't
I
I
was
just
born,
go
but I remember
kill everybody?
hearing my nurses talking about it. The sister to the Lord of House Rist was engaged to a prominent noble against the wishes of both their families. The coward broke it off.
And here I thought Jedi were supposed to keep their promises.
I don't know about that. But the timing of this hollow
Lies
recording
are
is
the tools
right,
of the Sith.
as is the name.
Do you hear my
Organa.
voice is sort of really
Rist is a
low
house
and
of
scratchy?
highly trained assassins, and Lady Rist
Need
is
to
no
package
exception.
this.
But she is perhaps most noted for her stubborn refusal to marry, and for the humiliations she pours on those who ask.
She sounds like loads of fun.
And more importantly, like she's still in love with Nomar Organa.
Good
And
voice
if
acting.
she is still in love with Nomar, then you may be able to convince her to lure Nomar to Alderaan.
Assassin or Jedi, they will both obey.
But be wary. To reach Rihanna Rist, you'll have to contend with the deadliest assassins on
Deadly
Alderaan.
assassins.
Good luck, Sith.
No problem. And there's
I hope your
Urkel.
search is going well, my lord.
Get out of my face, Urkel. Okay. And now I'm 39.
chaos.
All right. So this next step, House Wrist, has a cadre of a corps of assassins that protects their house. That's one thing that they're known for, apparently. I do remember this, and this was a little bit of a long grind. I don't think it's going to be long for us, but you got to fight your way through all of the assassins to get in there, and in the old days, you had to fight your way back out because you didn't have fast, quick travel to all the places all the time.
Right.
So you didn't. This was a great place to have stealth, because you could stealth all the way through those assassins. You really felt the fun of having stealth.
Yep. It was always a judgment call though with the stealth classes, because then you often didn't complete the bonus and you got behind on XP if you stealth through everything. But
right.
Still.
Right. There's a value to marauderitizing, leap from group to group and kill everything.
Yes.
Versus stealthing around. If you can get really good with the stealthing and be completing the bigger objectives. Okay, I'm going to Bolem. Outpost Bolem Thranta.
All right.
So I won't lose you this time.
Have a safe and pleasant stay.
There you are. We'll race. Somehow I don't think I'm gonna win. So I see you still have your snowflake flare. You like it?
Yes. Yes.
Still happy with that purchase?
I like it. It's appropriate for Alderaan. I'm keeping it.
It is. It's snowy here. Let's see what kind of mounts should we be riding. Oh, what we should be riding? Nerfs. So
that's true.
This reminds
if only I had some.
This reminds me of we've had a couple guild events over the years that we've called the Amazing.
I know what you're talking about.
The Amazing
Race. I
Race.
know what you're leading up to. The Great Nerf Search.
Yes, nerf herding. There are very specific types of nerfs. In fact, I think it's 6 different types in very specific areas across Alderaan that only spawn in very specific places. So we could put an officer in each one of those places and encourage everyone to. So for one of the challenges, so this was Amazing Race, and we did over 4 weeks. You had different challenges, and for the nerf herding, you had to go and find each of the 6 kinds of nerfs, and we had all officers in each of those locations to prove that you checked in there. But I didn't know they put so much detail into each of those kinds of nerfs. Like, here's a Highland nerf, right over here.
Right.
And trying to find each of those kinds of nerfs and tag them was a really great find by Pelel, our guild founder at the time, who designed that particular mission, that particular roadblock for our Amazing Race.
It was definitely a love-hate thing. I just got to wait for people to come and check in, so I loved it. But some people searching for nerfs were more on the hate side.
That one's a mature nerf. They're not attackable, so they can't be killed. There's another mature nerf. We had I think we ran 2 or 3 rounds of the Amazing Race, and they varied from 4 to 5 weeks. Like every Tuesday night for an hour and a half, we would have a challenge, and maybe it was a 2-part challenge, and there would be things like trivia that might be part of it, or a challenge like this, or you had to win a duel against an officer, or something like that. And none of them were all that difficult, but some of it were a little bit puzzly, little bits of riddles. Some of it required you to do things like ride the balloon on Tatooine and answer trivia questions while we were all on the balloon riding through the desert on Tatooine. And you got points added to your total week by week for how many nerfs you found, how many trivia questions you answered, how many of the snacks and drinks that you found from all the vendors that you were supposed to go seek out at various times.
Oh, that's right, the scavenger hunt.
Scavenger hunt type of stuff. We had to go find costumes and wear those costumes and do different emotes in different locations. So it was stuff that anyone could do at any level. It wasn't it wasn't limited. Well, not any level. I think you had to be 50 at the time just for some of the planets that you had to go to. But it wasn't like you
Right.
had to...
You had to have a ship.
You didn't have
Right.
to have tier gear or, you know, a full set of PvP gear, and you got points for that. So those were really fun. All right. This is also one of those challenges where when you do the planetary quests, you get quite a few more missions and breadcrumbs that take you the direction you're supposed to go. You have to be careful when you're skipping them because you might end up going the wrong way and ending up on the other side of a mountain. I think we're going the right way. I still see the purple thing ahead of us. I think there's...
I remember too early on doing Alderaan that there was always a lot of competition for the mobs. So I think maybe, you know, if you started the game right at the very beginning, there was like a wave going through. But that's what I remember the most is like, oh my gosh, there are no wrist.
You've done more of the heroics.
And they're all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of achievements, like, you know, like kill 10,000 wrist assassins and kill, you know, a billion House Thule-ist whatevers.
Yep.
I'm gonna sort of ride through some of these and we'll kill them if they knock me off. So this is open world. So you could get lucky. Just come right over here. And whatever comes in here we'll kill. I have to fix my keybinds. This is not how my other Sork, which I do play lately. It's not how he's set up. Okay. So you could get lucky with this kind of place and have someone had come in ahead of you and cleared the whole place. And then you just waltzed on through. Happen every once in a while. There's a side quest there you could pick up. I'm going to ignore it. Bunch of assassins. So this is quite a lot of stuff. And you'll see I think there's a reason to be in here for the planetary quest line as well. I think there's somebody stuck in a prison cell further deep in the
I think
Risk
so
compound
too.
that you have to rescue for some reason because they're an idiot, probably. These guys I didn't like because see how they've got the guys hiding behind the wall?
Yeah.
So when you're only expecting one, then more pop out. And some of these groups you can skip. Unless... Oops, oh, there's another...
We are not alone.
Who's that? Monica. The hired gun. Where am I going? I'm going the wrong way. I gotta go this way. We have to go on this elevator. Back behind you, Seema.
Oh, I didn't realize you were talking to me.
Not just randomly talking to the voices in my head. Not this time. We are Legion. We are Max. Alright, see, this is a long way. We gotta go all the way through here, too. Oh, but here, these... Let's just keep running through. If it starts to get really crazy, we'll stop. If Kimval dies... Oh. See? Get the ones hidden behind the corners and doorways. It's corners and doorways. That's expanse.
We don't need no stinking stealth.
Ooh, look, respawns.
Yeah.
Upgrades. What would you rate the replayability of Alderaan as a planet? Here, we'll kill these guys. Because they're strong and they're close to our door. Something you like?
I'm
a place
kind
you
of
like to
into
come
it
back
right
to?
now.
What's your favorite planet to go? Well, I meant to ask you, since you do crazy stuff like heroic missions for cash for gold. What's the heroic situation on Alderaan like?
Well, when I was doing a lot of them, the ones on Alderaan were a mix. There's a mix of the ones that are good, and by good I mean they're like fun and fast. And then there's some that there's a lot of elite mobs that take forever to do.
Yeah, okay. That sounded familiar. There's one where there's like crashed containers on the ground and you open them and sometimes there's a big champion mob that you gotta fight and sometimes there's not. The worst one is the one up on the platform thing.
Yeah, that one can be annoying because sometimes it's not, it doesn't tolerate multiple people very well.
Right, and it's open
So
world.
if there's anybody else up there, yeah.
We are cutting our way into the back end of House House Rist. Is that the Jedi? No, that's not the Jedi. That's guards.
Congratulations.
Oh, this is Rihanna.
You've broken into my home, butchered my assassins, and
She's sorta
forced your way into my personal chambers. Can I at least
rugged.
offer you a drink before you start making demands?
The only thing
Yeah, I'll
I
take a
would
drink.
is your blood.
Really? Did have to
Oh,
go there?
ew.
Is not on offer.
I paint your face
Not
with my
without a
blood.
fight, at any
Or
rate.
something like that.
So tell me then,
Paint my face with
what
your blood.
does Alana Thule want?
I believe this has your name on it.
Well, well. Let me guess. You dug this holo out of some
Little
dusty archive
blackmail.
in House Alder. Let's just say that his Royal Jedi-ness Nomor Organa and I are ancient history, and leave that dead dog buried.
So she's not in love with him.
Well, that's what she's hinting at, but I'm not giving you a choice.
At least that's what
Tell
she's
me about
saying.
Nomar Organa, or die.
You think because you are Sith you can intimidate me with threats. I've seen more of war than either you or that little bird Thule, and you won't get anything out of me without a fight.
Can do. Wouldn't have it any other way, Rihanna. Not trivial. Okay. We didn't kill her yet, at least.
All right. You win. I'll call him. No more Organa's not worth dying for. But then I want you out of my home.
Not your call.
You're hardly in a position to make demands.
No, I suppose not. Let me bring him up.
Ring, ring.
Rahana, what a surprise.
I know. It must be. Nomar, there's something I need to talk to you about.
Go ahead. Anything I can do. Anything at all.
You foolish Jedi. I just did a little
Not like this.
wrap it up
It's a favor
move
I
with my
need.
hand.
Here on Alderaan. I was hoping we could meet.
Of course. I can be there in a few hours. The old place?
Yes, the old place. Thank you.
The
There.
old place.
Are you
Our old
happy now?
smooching place.
Oh boy. No, I have a dark side choice. Where
Now it's going to be a dying place.
I could either kill her or I can just shock her and ask her
Tell me
where.
about this meeting place.
A little bit of lightning. I prefer not to
It's
kill
where
her.
we
I
used to
like
go
her.
to play
But I
Twister.
won't come with you, and you'd better get out of here. The meeting spot is in an underground cave near House Cortez, but the entrance tunnels are filled with Killiks. So good luck.
What kind of
I
secret
could have
meeting
shocked her
place is
again,
that?
but that's a little
There were no
gratuitous.
Killiks there 20 years ago. But you know what? I hope they tear you to pieces.
I
Now
like
get
her.
out of my house!
Nice. All right, there we go. So that is the start to Alderaan. So now we
It is.
move on to the meeting place, and it introduces the Killiks. So this is the point in all of the planet lines where the Killiks are introduced. There's a lot of Killik side quest and planetary stuff going on this planet and a couple other planets. So if you want to know about the history of the Killiks, you can look them up. We'll have to kill some, I think, to get through to the meeting place, but we probably won't get into the whole deal with why they're expanding, what their deal is. Are they sentient or are they not? What's up with the Killiks, which is an interesting little
Spoiler
side.
alert.
I guess.
Yes.
So.
I feel bad killing them now, but oh well.
Them like walking around with rifles seems
And shooting at you?
seems to
That
indicate
helps.
pretty quickly that they're not just mindless bugs. But whatever. I guess it could be a
Right.
puzzle for someone. I mean, if dolphins were like flapping around on the beach with 357 magnums and picking people off, I don't think we'd be saying, "I wonder if they're smart."
Right. Excellent point.
All right. So that is it for today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And with that, our EPC 277 droid here will ship out to broadcast this podcast over the weekend. We will be back probably Wednesday or Thursday next week. We'll keep you updated on Twitter. And us on Twitter is @MaxTheGray and @AIESEMA. And if you know cool people that should be playing Star Wars with us, give them a link to our podcast either on YouTube or Twitch or the website or just our guild website and tell them to come check us out. I also, it's not a big deal, but YouTube is doing this thing where they want people to have more subscriptions. I think we're okay. We're above their threshold in terms of watched hours, so we're not like dumped out of all of their of all of their listings, but it's some weird stuff you should look up. And if you do watch this thing on YouTube, subscribing there is probably useful in some way. I don't even know. But other than that, we will talk to you later.
Later, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend.